I read some of those older senior citizens ads in the personal column. Recent widow, just buried fourth husband, looking for someone to round out a 6-unit plot. Shortness of breath and fainting spells and dizziness, no problem. And then the one they read, I'm into long walks on the beach, yoga, meditation. If you're the silent type, let's get together and take out our hearing aids and have some quiet. And then the one that read, I can remember Monday through Thursday. If you can remember Friday, Saturday, Sunday, let's get together and make a week. Now you know you're growing older when everybody you know starts to mumble. You know you're growing older when you look for your glasses all over the place and you find them on top of your head. You know you're growing older when your body starts to wiggle and you're standing still. It's some of you out there, I can tell. You know you're growing older when your liver spots start to merge. And they spell out, give it up. You know you're growing older when your favorite midnight cocktail is vodka and Metamucil. We call it bombs away. You know you're growing older when you try to dial a phone number on your remote control.
The guys get it.
You know you're growing older when you ask your kid what he wants for his birthday and he says power of attorney. Now about those personal ads, if I should find myself single again in this life, when I put an ad in, I would let the men know that I was serious. And my ad would read, beautiful, mature female, rich, comes with a handicapped parking sticker. My husband Hank just loves my handicapped parking sticker. And what I like to call BS days, before sticker. When we'd get in the car to go somewhere and I'd get in, he'd say, you got your glasses? Not today. Today when we go somewhere and I get in the car, he says, got your sticker? And when we fly together, we always fly coach unless we get upgraded. And when the attendant says, for those who need special attention, Hank, push me. And he acts like he's helping me, but he's really just shoving me. And he's got the tickets in his pocket, so I just sail right past that. And I'd go down that ramp like I'm on a skateboard. And then one day, we were in the airport and Hank was up at the ticket counter trying to get us better seats. And I was sitting there minding my own business, reading a book. And Hank came running back and he said, look scared. And I said, why? And he said, just do it, Lola. So I went, that ticket lady, she could and that when I got scared, it aggravated my irritable bowel system. We got great seats. Right in the front, you know, with the extra leg room, right next to the restroom. I was born in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And I had a cerebral hemorrhage at birth, and I weighed 1.5 pounds. Now, the doctor told my parents that I would never make it. They didn't believe him, and I didn't hear it.
Yeah!
2 weeks from yesterday, I will celebrate my 72nd birthday. Well, applause is wonderful. But what I really wanted you to do was gasp. And say, no way. So can we run through that again? 2 weeks from yesterday, I will celebrate my 72nd birthday.
No way! Wow!
She hired them.
Being older does have a lot of benefits. For one thing, you get cheaper tickets to the movies. For another thing, you can get some senior discounts with the airlines. Even better seats if you look scared. And another thing I like about it is, now that I'm older, I can flirt with other men, and Hank doesn't give a hoot. In fact, he encourages it. That Viagra is expensive. I was 5 years old. I was in the hospital recuperating from surgery that would make it possible for me to walk. My daddy tiptoed into my hospital room, put a red ping pong ball on his nose, and woke me up with a kiss and said, "Hi, cutie." He made me smile no matter how much the stitches hurt. And then later, when I cried because I couldn't dance with the boys, my daddy put that silly red ping pong ball on his nose and made me smile right through my tears. And still later, when I went away to college, Dad pressed a package in my hand and he said, "Here, cutie, open this when you're in your room by yourself." I did. In the package was a red rubber ball with a split on the side. And a note from my daddy which read, "Dear cutie, just because you can't walk and run as fast as your new college friends, wear this and watch the magic happen because you create your own sparkle." I did. I put that nose on. And it worked. Just like magic. I was real popular in college. Especially on the handball court. This is my RNAA, my red nose attitude adjuster. Now when I get frustrated when I'm in bumper-to-bumper traffic, I just put this nose on and I look over. You'd be amazed at how many people follow me around. coming back to see if they saw what they did. I have discovered that our future happiness depends on how we react to our past. And so, if I talk a lot about myself tonight, please forgive me, but I'm all I know. And I do believe that only the truth is funny. So come along with me on a fun and sometimes not so fun excursion through my life. When I was a little girl and my mama would give a party, she was always charming and fun. But when the party was over, she was different. Not nearly so much fun. So I decided, when I grow up, I'm going to live my life as if I were at a party. So put that on vibrate and sit on it. So to all of you here, welcome to my party. I'm so glad you can come. My mama also taught me that when people say how you doing, they really don't want to know. She said, Lola, when people say how you doing, say I'm fine and say it with a grin. Because most people don't have time to hear the shape you're really in. So that's kind of going to be our refrain tonight. I'm going to say, how you doing? And you're going to say, I'm just fine. Let's practice. How you doing?
Just fine.
Oh, that was good. Let's change it just a little bit, and I'm going to say, if you're just fine, shout, I'm just fine.
I'm just fine.
Oh, you didn't say how we did.
No, I changed it, Hank.
Okay.
Okay?
Wait a minute, I'm going to my room. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to do that.
So my father taught me that attitude is everything. My mother taught me that I could choose to live my life as if I were at a party and say I'm just fine. So I had all the advice I needed to go out into the world. And then I met Hank. And he told me he was from Holland. Michigan, I said? No, he said, Amsterdam, Holland, in Europe. Well, folks, I had a cousin who'd been all the way to Tennessee twice. But Amsterdam, Holland, that was another world. Now, he didn't wear wooden shoes or anything. He did talk kind of funny. Spoke 4 languages. English, Dutch, German, and Braille. That man was one good toucher. I hadn't been kissed like that since I gave our dog a Tootsie Roll. Well, I took Hank home and I was going to introduce him to my mama, but what he didn't know was that my mama was a high school principal, and she was a master at communication. And she did it with just one sound, and that sound was when I was a toddler and I refused to eat my grits, and of course everybody knows that grit stands for girls raised in the South. When I was a toddler and I would refuse to eat my grits, my mom would get right in my face and go, so I ate. So I grew up and I finally arrived at being a teenager, and Came home one Saturday night with my steady date, Mama. We were on the front porch whispering sweet nothings to each other. Just when we were ready to do a whole lot more, my mother appeared out of nowhere and went. So Bob and I said goodnight. Well, I graduated from high school, and then I went away to college and graduated from there. And then I went to Kinston, North Carolina, and that's where I met Hank. He was teaching NATO students how to fly at Kinston Evans. So when I took Hank home to introduce him to my mama, she was real nice. He kissed her hand. So she forgot completely to look at his shoes. And she gave him her best southern smile. And then she got me over in the corner and she said, really, Lola, a Yankee would have been bad enough. Well, Hank asked me to marry him, and I said yes, but I wanted him to get my mama and my daddy's permission, so he bought a big bouquet of flowers. He drove the 70 miles to my home, and he was ushered into the parlor where sat my mama and my daddy, and in gallant European fashion, he got down on his knees in front of my mama, put those flowers in her lap. She told me later that she thought he was going to sing an aria from the Dutch opera. Then he twirled around and he asked my daddy for my hand in marriage, and with that he lost his balance and he fell right over. He spoke a few words of Dutch, which I'm really glad my daddy couldn't understand. He got back up almost fast as he had fallen and asked my daddy for my hand all over again. Well, folks, my daddy was overwhelmed. He'd never had a man on his knees in front of him before. Let alone one who fell over and spoke Dutch and got back up again. So he could not remember that his name was Mr. Gillebaard. So he said, Mr. Willie Bob. He said, I really appreciate the fact that you asked for the hand of my little kid, but she's too young to get married. I was 24 years old at the time. Now, my mama knew that I was my daddy's little cutie, but she also knew I was 24 years old, and she didn't want an old maid for a daughter. So she put those flowers on the table beside her. She leaned over, she got right in my daddy's face, and she said, so we got married. And on the way home, before going back to Kinston Air Base, we decided to stop off and spend one night with Mom and Dad. Mom gave us permission to sleep in my room. My room had twin beds. They were nice twin beds. They were antiques. It was even said that Robert E. Lee had slept in one of those beds. You're getting ahead of me back then. That was the one with the squeaky spring. It was a hot August night. All the doors and windows were open in search of a summer breeze. Mom and Daddy's room was right across the hall. Hank lay down on that bed and those springs went wah, wah, wah. And my mama went, and then Hank flipped over and the springs went wah, 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 and my mama went, and then a mosquito began to buzz around Hank's head. The springs went wah, wah, wah. And my mama went, and then that mosquito zoomed down and bit Hank in the knee, and he slapped his knee, and those springs went wah, 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 and my mama went, young man. Don't you understand English? Well, with that, Hank just lost it. He got up on the mattress. He began to go up and down, up and down. I thought he was on a trampoline. And he said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything with anybody. And then my daddy ran across the hall, jumped up on the mattress with Hank, shook his hand, began to go up and down with him. And my daddy said, I'm not doing anything with anybody either. Well, I just loved being married. Sex was legal. though I couldn't run vertically, I discovered a whole new life horizontally. I was having a blast. And then one day, I noticed that Hank was starting to look kind of peaked. And he said, Lola, you know, we do not have to do this every time we say hello. He said, I'm hungry and we don't have any clean clothes. I was disappointed. I finally found something that I could do well physically. And now he wanted food and laundry besides. But I cooked and I did the laundry and I made iced tea, just like my mom had taught me, and I even made a dust ruffle for the bed. And then we discovered that we were pregnant. And we painted the nursery, and we read how-to books, and we bought stuffed animals, and we were excited. And on one beautiful summer evening, we went to a party. I was 7 months pregnant. I was real careful. I didn't dance. We were with a bunch of our friends, and we laughed a lot. And suddenly, I knew something was terribly wrong. So I went over and I whispered in Hank's ear, but he couldn't hear me because the band was playing so loud. But then he saw the look on my face, and so he picked me up in his arms and he ran towards the ladies' room. And when we got to the door, he said, "Man, coming in?" And he took me in and took me inside the stall and set me down, gave me a kiss, and said, "I'll be right back." He ran out on the dance floor, grabbed the microphone, and said, "Is there a doctor in the house?" One came forward. Hank took him back to me, and he said, "Go to the hospital right away." So as we left, our friends, our partying friends, wanted to go with us, and Hank said, "No, I'll call you." So he laid me in the back seat of the car, and he drove, and I was scared. And about an hour after we got to the hospital, I had a baby boy. And a few minutes later, he died. They rolled me back to my room, and the next thing I knew, they were rolling me back to the delivery room, and I had a second baby boy. And he died. So when they took me back to my room, Hank sat on the side of the bed, put his arms around me. I cried. He cried. We cried. And it was that day that we became soulmates. Now, I'm worried about whether I could get pregnant again, but then I'm Catholic. So a year later, we had a healthy, boisterous baby boy named Hank Jr. And 3 months after that, we discovered we were pregnant again. These horizontal Olympics were going for the gold. Well, Hank was transferred to another air base in Florida. We moved. A month after we got there, our second boisterous baby boy was born, Gus. And when Hank brought Gus and me home from the hospital, he took us into the kitchen and he showed us a new refrigerator that he had bought and installed for the family. And this refrigerator had something that we had never had before. It had an automatic ice maker. So after we finally got the children to bed, Hank Hank said, "Do you want to watch it make ice?" That was the last thing I wanted to do. But Hank was so excited. So we sat. And we watched Ice Cube line up and then drop. One drop. Into the ice tray at 4 o'clock in the morning. If you're just fine, shout, "I'm just fine."
I'm just fine.
By 1970, we had 2 more boisterous boys. I was still Catholic. I've never really considered being anything else. Certainly not an atheist. What fun is that? They have not one single holiday. Well, with 4 boys, it seemed like boys were everywhere in the house. Eating, arguing, playing, sleeping. And it was one night when they were asleep that I went in to look in on them and cover them up. And I looked at them and I thought, they really were good kids, especially when they were asleep. So I decided to write them a note, put it in my journal, each one. So I started. "Dear Hank Jr., firstborn, you were our first miracle. I've always loved you best because you didn't have a clue that we didn't have a clue how to take care of a baby. Your diapers always got changed the minute they needed it. Your pacifier was always sanitized, and you got the spraying lamb. And when we brought you home from the hospital, your daddy said, 'Lola, before I married you, all I had was a rented room, a record player, and a Kaiser Fraser automobile. Now I have you, a new son, and my Kaiser Fraser automobile.' We took lots of pictures. Dear Gus, second-born, you've always been my favorite. Because you came only 13 months later, and you seem to know that you better get independent as fast as possible. And we have a marvelous home movie of you. You started crawling really, really early, and that was your favorite mode of transportation. And we have this wonderful home movie of you crawling down the sidewalk for a whole block with a great big smile on your face. Because that was one thing that you did that your brother had never done. And you were very proud. We took fewer pictures. Dear Paul, our third-born, you've always been my favorite. Because you came 4 years later, and you had a tough spot, and you seemed competitive from the beginning, but you were the first one with whom we relaxed. We knew that you could kiss a dog in the park and you wouldn't get sick. And we taught you that you can't hide uneaten broccoli in a glass of milk.
Is that what happened to it last night?
We took almost no pictures. Dear Ted, my fourth born, you've always been my favorite. Because you came even 4 years later. And I was pretty sure that you were the last one. So we didn't have to set an example for anybody else. And you're the only one who sold Kool-Aid to all the kids in the block that you made in our garbage cans. Before I got home. But no matter how many children you have or grandchildren, you will always be my baby. And I found one picture of you when you were 4 years old. You had just won the swim team relay. And you looked so cute standing there by the pool, all dripping wet, your hair matted, sucking on your pacifier. It was Winston Churchill who said that a couple should have 4 children. One to replace the mother, one to replace the father, one to increase the population, and one in case of accident. Well, I didn't hear Winston Churchill say that, but we had 4. And it seemed as if overnight the boys got over 6 feet tall. And when they were standing, they took over the room. When they were sitting, they looked like they were standing. And when they were lying down, they looked like wall-to-wall carpet that eats. And one day, I walked into the bathroom. They were always challenging each other. And one day, I walked into the bathroom, and the 4 boys were competing to see who had the farthest streak. Well, I ran to find Hank, and I told him, and he gave me that "that's my boy" smile. And he said, "What did you do?" I said, "I hit the ceiling." He said, "You win." Well, in those days, our house was a motel for the kids' friends, and it was a snack shop for the kids to hang out. And it was also a catered discotheque with strobe lights and loud music. And when Hank and I got sick and tired of that, we'd sneak up the stairs and call the police. And it was also a psychologist's office. We didn't hang out with Shingle, but it was open 24/7. And it was for broken hearts and speeding tickets and unfair, unreasonable parents. And the parents, Hank and I usually staffed it, but if we were the issue, then the oldest son staffed it, and if he was the issue, anyway, it went on down the line. Now, I need to ask you a really serious question. How many women in this room are wearing a thong? talking on our cell phones wearing a phone. Congratulations. In 100 years, we've gone from bustles to a phone. I really want to stay with it. Go ahead, we got time. I really like to stay with it, and I went and I talked to the sales lady, and I said, I don't know, and she said, oh, it's high fashion, and you'll get used to it in the end. And you know that a thong comes in 2 sizes, little butt and pain in the butt. And you wear that thing long enough, you got hot cross buns. And of course, when a heavy person wears a thong, you call it really cheeky. I tried to wear one here tonight. I got as far as the driveway. That thing really upsets the only cleavage. So yeah, we women ride around in our SUVs, sipping bottled water, wearing a thong. Hank absolutely said I cannot wear a thong bathing suit on the beach. He said the lifeguards would be laughing so hard they'd never do their job. So sipping that bottled water and talking on cell phones. I think that people who talk on their cell phone in public ought to have a phone booth over their head. And I have a cell phone. I love it. If I could just remember where I put it. But the other day, I was checking out in the grocery store. I was at the checkout counter, and I was fishing through my purse for some change, and all of a sudden my cell phone rang, and so I answered it. And it was a guy at the end of the line telling me to hurry the heck up. Experts tell us that there are 4 natural stress busters that we can all take advantage of. Those 4 are laughter, music, exercise, and sex. And I say, if you can manage to do all 4 of those at one time, you've got it made. But they did another survey, and this survey said that there are some women who prefer chocolate to sex. And I wanted to find out why, so I asked. And one woman told me, well, for one thing, you can enjoy it while you're driving. Obviously, she's never driven with husband hands. And then she said, well, another thing, you can enjoy it in front of your mother. And then she said, you can get it, you can find it, and no matter what size it is, it's always good. You know, of course, that when a kid is 16 years old, the most important thing in his life is to get his driver's license. Thank goodness all our boys had driver's ed. My husband, Hank, taught himself to drive in a hurry. And he's always in a hurry, no matter what time he has to get there. And not too long ago, he got a ticket on his way to the DMV. And then he had to stand in line an hour after he got there. And since Hank is retired, he has gotten, I hate to use the word tight, but he's gotten really, really frugal. I mean, when we go to a Chinese restaurant, he brings the chopsticks home and makes toothpicks out. And when I try to throw away some cheese that he left in the refrigerator, he won't let me throw it out, and I accuse him of trying to make penicillin. And even though it's just the two of us, he still shops at Costco. And when he comes out, his cart looks like, "Honey, I shrunk the kid." And when it's really hot, he turns off the air conditioner and watches National Geographic specials on Alaska. And of course he thinks designer clothes are a ripoff. But I gotta say that since he's retired, he does wear some really original clothing. And if he gets hot, he just cuts off his shirt sleeves and his pants legs with my pinking shears. And one day the mailman asked him if he was on his way to a dress rehearsal for Peter Pan. And he's a do-it-yourself doctor. He lances his own blisters. And he burns off his own warts with a soldering iron. What's wrong with that, the man said. You gotta meet my husband. Y'all need to get together. And Hank likes to give himself a physical. Well, one day I walked by the bathroom and I heard him say, "Turn your head and call." You know you're growing older when you fall down and you look around to see if there's anything else you can accomplish while you're there. You know you're growing older when you pack for a trip and your medical supplies take up more room than your clothes. You know you're growing older when people ask you if you're getting enough and you think they're talking about sleep. You know you're growing older when that person you live with finally gets a hearing aid and still doesn't listen. You know you're growing older when you love to go braless because it pulls the wrinkles out of your face. If you're just fine, shout out just fine. You know your kids expect you to be there for them always. They know you're growing older, but they don't expect you to grow old. They don't even like for you to get sick, and they certainly don't think that you'll ever die. How this came home to me when the doctor told me I had cancer. I came home, I told my husband Hank, and I burst out crying. And I said, how am I going to tell the boys? And then I decided I'd tell them in the same blurted out fashion we've always used in our family. First kid calls, "Hi Mom, hi babe, how's it going?" "Not well, I just found out I have breast cancer." Long pause. And then the kid says, "Does that mean you're going to die?" Second kid calls, "Hi Mom, hi babe, what's with you?" "Not very good, I just found out I have breast cancer." Long pause. And then the kid says, "But Mom, you don't even eat fat." Third kid calls, "Hi Mom, hi babe, what's with you?" "Not good, I just found out I have breast cancer." Long pause. And then the kid says, "This isn't going to bother Dad, is it?" Fourth kid calls, "Hi Mom, hi babe, what's with you?" "Not good, I just found out I have cancer." Long pause. And then the kid says, "Why couldn't it have been Mrs. Walcott?" Mrs. Walcott was the name of it. Used to always brush them off her sidewalk. Well, that was on December the 5th, 1987. On December the 6th, I had to go in for some tests to see if the malignancy had spread. And my husband Hank said, "Do you want me to go with you?" And I said, "No. I can only handle my own emotions today. I do not need a man in the waiting room pacing up and down. Be just our luck to be charged for holding the carpet." I spent the whole day taking my clothes off and putting them back on again. It was kind of like my honeymoon. But not nearly as much fun. And the nurses waltzed in and out in their squiggly shoes without even a whiff of perfume to mark their entrance or exit. And then the doctors came in their white coats and vacant smiles, and they poked around, and then they left. I was sitting on the table all alone, and I was terrified. Scared that the doctor would come back and tell me the cancer had spread. How I wish that my daddy could just pop in, put that silly red nose on, say, "Everything's going to be all right, kid." Finally, the doctor reappeared, and he said, "Mrs. Gillebaard, I see no cancer in the rest of your body." How I hope that doctor had 20/20 vision. I jumped in the car and I drove home as if by magic. Got out of the car and walked towards the front door. I could hear Mahalia Jackson singing Silent Night. I walked inside the front door, and in the corner of the living room was the largest Christmas tree we have ever had. Decorated with every ornament the kids have ever made. Even the ugly ones. And standing around that tree was my family. Each one dressed in a suit and tie and spit-polished shoes. They looked like they were ready to carry me down the aisle in a box. "Merry Christmas," they shouted. "Merry Christmas," I whispered. "And a Happy New Year, because I've just found out I've got lots more to come." And then I looked around the corner. The dining room table was set with the good silver and the fine china and even the chipped crystal. I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that that evening with my family was one of the most precious I've ever spent. And Domino's Pizza has never tasted Well, the medical report reads that on the following Monday, I had a radical mastectomy on my left side. That's not the way I say it. I say that on the following Monday, I had my left breast amputated. Now, I've had 17 major surgeries in this lifetime, but that one was the most demeaning. It represented a lot of my sexuality. I mean, when I was in the 8th grade, Jean Woodleaf and I had the smallest boobs in the class. And every Friday night, we'd spend the night together. It was usually at her house, because her parents went to bed earlier than mine. And after her parents went to bed, she'd get out the tape measure. And we'd measure. And I don't remember either one of us ever being exuberant over our growth. But we always encouraged each other and said, you know, that next week would be better. And then we would do those pectoral exercises. The ones that Ian Duke had taught us. Ian Duke had the biggest boobs in the class. I found out later that she wore falsies. But she had the most boyfriends too, so I certainly thought that the bigger your boobs were, the more boyfriends you would have. Mine never did get very big, but they got bigger than Gene Woodley's. But it didn't make any difference then because that left boob was gone. And Hank, in his effort to make me feel better, in private, called me Uniboob. Now, I knew that it was his way of saying, I don't care if you have two, one, or none. But it just never did make me smile. So I finally asked him to stop. Well, I was going to have reconstruction because ever since all those Friday nights with Gene Woodley, I had thought it would just be wonderful to be reconstructed. So, but the doctor said I had to wait 6 months. So during that time I wore prosthesis. And I'm sure all of you know that a prosthesis is heavy. It's made out of silicone. And it looked fine, though, underneath my clothes. I mean, I'd work all day. I felt real normal. And then that night, I'd take my clothes off, and that thing would fall out. As if to say, gotcha. And during the time that I was wearing that prosthesis, I had an experience that I've never had before, and I hope I'll never have again. I had been asked by a man in Colorado to do a presentation, and he'd seen me do one 6 months before, and he said, would you wear that same dress? I said, sure, but I wasn't so sure because the dress was the same, but my form had changed. It was really a snug dress. My prosthesis fit fine in my maiden form, but I didn't know how I was going to make it work in this dress. And husband Hank, well, he's real handy. He said, don't worry, Lola, I can fix it. Well, Mr. Handyman fixed it all right. He glued that prosthesis to my body with crazy glue. It took him 5 minutes to glue it. Took him another 15 minutes to get his fingers unscrewed. But boy, did I look great when I walked into that meeting room. I could see the meeting planners' look of approval right away. Everything just went wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the microphone didn't have an after sound. The introducer said Lola Gillebaard, not Lola Gillebaard. Hank was sitting right there on the front row with every single one of his fingers separated. For the first 45 minutes, everybody laughed in all the right places. And then, all of a sudden, I felt something move. So a quick look down proved that my prosthesis was trapped toward my feet. Well, I kept leaning forward. And I finally decided that I had to make a choice. I could lie down on the floor or I could put that hand mic in my right hand and hold it. Or I could throw my arms up in the air and let gravity suck that thing right out of my face. That's the one I chose. The audience and I watched. In stunned silence. That thing got to my waist and it stopped. So I I wiggled. That thing fell out on the floor with a great big pop. And that plop seemed to resound. Oh. Finally, the plop stopped. Everybody in that room was staring at me. They were wondering what I was going to do next. Ladies and gentlemen, I was wondering what I was going to do. So I leaned over and I scooped up that prosthesis. And I stared at it. I stared at it like I'd never seen it before. And then Hank jumped up. And he said, "Can I help?" And then I remembered it was all his fault. Give me his crazy, crazy glue. So I threw my arm back and I threw that prosthesis at Hank just as hard as I could. And I said, "You get the booby prize." If you're just fine, shout, "I'm just fine." So am I. Well, a few months later, the plastic surgeon told me that I was ready to have the surgery. The implant was ordered. The hospital had made the appointment. It was going to be on a Thursday. On that Wednesday, I was so excited. All day at work, I sang, "Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Lola. Happy birthday to me." And I got home and there was a message on my voicemail to call my plastic surgeon. And I did. And he told me that the surgery had to be postponed. And I said, "Why?" And he said, "The implant got lost in the mail." I said, "Where was the implant coming from?" He said, "Atlanta, Georgia." I said, "I should have known." When I was growing up in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, everybody said even if you were going to hell, you'd have to go through Atlanta. Well, 3 days later, the implant arrived. I had this surgery. I was excited. I couldn't wait to get the bandages off. I have never been so disappointed in my life. That thing didn't look like a breast at all. It looked like a half a grapefruit that Hank had stuck on me without a nipple. Now, I was going to have the nipple surgery, but I had to have that later. But I heard that you could buy a nipple at a medical supply place. So one night after work, I went to this medical supply place, and I went in. There was only one person in the place, and that person was a man. But I had driven a long way. So he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I need a nipple." He said, "I beg your pardon." I said, "I had a radical mastectomy on my left side. I've just had reconstruction. I'm looking to top it off with a nipple." And he said, "Oh, the ladies that handle that department have gone to a mastectomy convention." I said, "Well, that's just peachy. I still need a nipple." And he said, "Well, I know they're in here somewhere. Do you want to help me look?" And I said, "Let's get started." Ladies and gentlemen, we opened every box in that medical supply place. I saw things. a big one. And Lord knows I hope I never find out. But we never did find it. So I left the place frustrated, tired, and nippleless. And the next morning, one of those ladies called me and she said, please come back. I know right where they are. I said, please tell that man. And I went back and I bought two. One for show and one for stuff. Looked great in the sweater. The only problem was I looked like I was turned on all the time. Well, I had the nipple surgery. Came from the inside of my leg. Kind of cute. But it was the wrong color. And at first I used eye makeup on it. That was kind of messy. And then I heard that you could get your nipple tattooed. So I told Hank, I'm going to the plastic surgeon to get my nipple tattooed. He said, Lola, we live in Laguna Beach.
Oh.
There are tattoo parlors all over. I said, Hank, this is not a rose I'm getting tattooed on. So I got the tattoo. The next week I was at a cocktail party. I happened to be standing next to this woman that I never had liked. And she said, what's new with you? I said, oh, not much. Oh, yeah. Last week I had my nipple tattooed. That woman did not get away from me fast. Now, you can call me a romantic if you want to, but I have figured out the secret to a happy marriage. Separate houses. Of course, who can afford that? But at least separate bathrooms. When it's Hank's turn to clean the bathroom, he flushes. But when he cleans his car, he even polishes that mirror that says, objects in this mirror are larger than they appear. In his dream. In mine too. Now the experts tell us that, if we want to really have a good sex life, we have to work at it in our marriage. And every woman's magazine that you see on the shelf will have at least one article in it with a title like how to reignite his passion after his pilot light's gone out. Or preparation for old age without preparation age. Or how to fantasize you're with Mel Gibson when you're married to a retired Rotarian. And to all this I say, bull, Hank and I have figured out the perfect way to have a good sex life. Rule number 1, don't laugh. Rule number 2, don't cry. And rule number 3, don't die. I'm on the 103rd day me of a 12-day beauty plan. And I'm sick and tired of that woman on television. You know the one I mean. The one who looks right in the camera and says, I'm never going to grow old. Because I use oil of Olay. Folks, I fill my bathtub with oil of Olay. I sat in it. Look at me. I'm still old and wrinkled and slippery. My body looks like Tina Turner's hair in a rainstorm. And I never leaf through a copy of National Geographic that I don't think, isn't it wonderful that we live in a society that wears clothes? Now my husband Hank says that men grow more distinguished, while women just grow old. Husbands are all alike. They just have different faces. Now, it's true that men age differently than women. Older women and older men are different. Older men get gold medallions, sports cars, and bikini underwear. Older women get wrinkles, osteoporosis, and a mustache. And then older women have to put up with those hot flashes. Now Hank takes my hot flashes really seriously. Every night before he goes to bed, he puts on sunscreen. And some nights I sweat so much that the sheets are all soaking wet in the morning. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Now hot flashes are nothing to sneeze at. I sneezed once while I was having a hot flash and almost burned the toe. But hot flashes do remind me of my mother-in-law. I never knew when she was going to show up or how long she was going to stay. But if life were really fair, I think instead of women having menopause, men ought to have womenopause. And then they could grow their own breasts and fondle them and leave us to have But the men expect us to be superwoman. I mean, we work all day, we cook, clean, and then we come home and supposed to jump in bed with a great big smile on our face. Ladies, what are we smiling about? Is he Superman? Come to think of it, husband Hank is faster than a speeding bullet. You know the romance has gone out of your marriage when he says, "Yo, baby," and he's talking about America's Funniest Home Video. If I had my way, men would say in everything, including childbirth. Sometimes I think that the men think that we can just drop that kid on the kitchen floor, whack off the umbilical cord, and have dinner still on the table by 6 o'clock. And for you men in the audience who don't know what childbirth feels like, it's like 4 quarters of football with the Dallas Cowboys, without that cup. And to think I kept playing that game, I had 4 of those suckers, all boys. And all my boys were raised in a broken home. They broke everything in sight. But they've always known how to manage money. If you lend your kid money, make sure that you get that transaction in writing. Because I have discovered that the biggest affliction of young adults it's not alcohol, and it's not drugs. It's amnesia. And then comes that day that every parent dreads, a police call. They called me. They said, "We have your son." I said, "Wonderful." Finders keepers. If you're just fine, shout, "I'm just fine."
I'm just fine.
So am I. Like I told you, I try to stay up to date, but sometimes things happen that just really tick you off. They're just really a pain. And one of those for me is this political correctness. And they say it's so important to be politically correct, and oh, you can't do that, it's not politically correct. So I knew I had to find the humor in it, so I wrote a little ditty, and it's called "You Be Political and I'll Be Correct." So welcome to the world of the politically correct, where everything we ever knew is suddenly suspect. If strange sounding words seem to come from my mouth, I am not being ethnic. I'm just from the South. And I refuse to be someone's partner for life. I'm Lola, husband Hank's long-suffering wife. And my kids don't call me their dad's significant other. Poor misguided souls, they still call me mother. And I don't care if my friends are gay or straight. To me, they'll always be Renee and Kate. I do like to know if a person's a he or a she. A he is Mel Gibson, and a she is me. And if I want to wear wool, then wool I will buy. Nobody hurt that little old sheep. He didn't die. And now I understand we're not supposed to wear cotton, because to the poor boll weevil, pesticides are rotten. We're biracial, bilingual, a land of many cultures, just waiting to be attacked by those politically correct vultures. We're African American, Asian, Hispanic. We're as diverse as our group aboard the Titanic. I'm worried about our future. How are we going to know what's what? I mean, is that a canine extraordinaire or just some old mutt? And what about our restrooms for ladies and gents? Will we all go together in big public tents? I don't know about you, but I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm not going to the mini mall. I'm going to the store. And as for that next candidate who wants to be elected, to get my vote, he or she just better not be too politically correct. Daddy, I learned that attitude is everything. From husband Hank, I learned that sex is almost everything. Except food and laundry. And from my boys, I learned that he who has the farthest stream makes the biggest mess. And from my grandchildren, I learned that coloring outside the lines still looks good on the refrigerator. And from my mother, I learned that I can choose to live my life as if I were at a party while saying I'm just fine. So I want to thank all of you for coming to my party. I've had a wonderful time.
so much laughter and so much wisdom. It's been wonderful, and we do thank you so very much.
Thank you.
I'd also like to thank 7 Degrees for allowing us to be here to have this fundraiser. And the desserts that we're going to be enjoying this evening are from Culinary Adventures, and all of this has been donated to Rotary. I want to take this opportunity also to thank all of you for coming and being with us. It's been a joy for us to do, and we thank you very much for your support. We'll have our raffle drawing this evening, and our auction will start in just about 5 minutes. So take a stretch, get a cup of coffee and a dessert, and come back and we'll enjoy the auction.
Yay! Yay, Lola!
All right, y'all want to come by the house?
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Oh, you can't see my hips, man. That was
No, I can't see Lola. You know, for me to do this, I gotta spread my legs so I can.
That looks like a jailbird shirt, too. What? Jailbird?
Can I do a little Lola doing her socializing thing?
Oh, yeah.
Her hobnobbing?
Hobby.
Yeah, hobby.
Big.
You'd be happy. Hank leave?
No.
Hey, did Hank leave?
Come on, little man.
Yeah, you wanted to skip out before you had to pay the bill.
Seriously, did he leave?
He's the windblower.
Did he say goodbye? Did he leave? Did Hank leave?
Ooh.
Hank, your brother.
Yeah, he's getting his paintings to his car. We were going to bid on one, but
Hank got it.
no, when the price got up too high, I was like,
Hey, but we got the no.
There you go. How do you feel, Lola?
I feel fantastic. It was a wonderful 2 nights. Open one night, close the next. It's all
I'll meet you there.
Oh, well,
You did
we'll have another
fantastic.
opening somewhere else.
You did fantastic.
Thank you. Oh, and I got these.
Oh. Oh, wait, did you see what I got?
No, what'd you get?
You see what I get? We're looking
you
in my
know
pen.
How much you paid for it?
Oh, you the one that bought my nose.
$25 for the nose.
God, I just found out they auctioned that out.
That's right, baby. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, I just spent $1,200 on other stuff, like another stuff. Yeah, I gotta know. So I did my
You
part.
bought it for $25.
That's right. I did my donation to the Rotary Club.